Yo, what's going on, everybody? Welcome to the Unstoppable Marketer Podcast. With me, as always, is Mark Goldhart. Mark Goldhart, how are you?
Doing good. Not really, though. I drove so many miles.
Yeah, tell everybody why you drove so many miles.
I went to Amarillo, Texas to pick up a trailer. And if we have any listeners in Amarillo, Texas, I am sorry you live there. I'm just kidding. But
well, there's something cool about Amarillo, Texas. Well, first of all, I made that drive, and I warned
George
you.
George Strait has a great song about Amarillo, Texas.
Oh, does he? I warned you about the drive, that it's just terrible.
It is a terrible drive.
It's a miserable, miserable drive.
And the GPS just kept pushing me into Colorado. It just wanted me to go through the treacherous mountains during the winter.
You went like Park City, Colorado, Kansas, Oklahoma.
No, the way down, I was just going to go through Moab, but then the GPS is like, no, keep going. Don't turn into Moab. Just keep going into Colorado. And so I was just driving through some wintry mountains for seriously 5 hours. Then finally made it to Pueblo, and then went down to Amarillo.
Well, what I was going to say...
Then I went to Albuquerque, and then up.
I believe in Amarillo, they have the biggest steak eating contest restaurant. So it's like a 47-ounce steak or something like that. And if you can eat it all in one sitting, you get a big prize. We went to it. We didn't try it.
I would have gone there if I knew that.
Yeah, I should have told you.
So Amarillo is great.
For that reason.
They have a steakhouse and a steak eating. So if you finish it, you don't have to buy it.
Yeah, and I think there's got to be more to it.
Is there like a time?
The incentive's got to be more.
It's probably a time trial.
Yeah, and the incentive's got to be a little more than that. Because like 47 ounces of meat.
Do you know how much? Do you know how expensive that would be?
Well, yeah, of course I know how expensive.
That's a fine enough incentive for me.
But that would be miserable.
No, it wouldn't.
Yeah, it would be miserable for me.
But you don't love steak like I love steak.
I mean, I like steak.
Yeah, but you don't really love it like I love it.
Maybe not. I don't know. Why would you say that?
You know, because like when I have a free night, I will literally pull out like an 18-ounce steak and cook it and eat it by myself.
We do Butcher Box, and we eat steaks every single week.
But like 18-ounce steaks?
I don't know what the size is. It's
you
probably like
you seem like an 8 to 12 guy.
It's like a 10-ounce ribeye.
Yeah.
I don't know what that's supposed to mean, but well, dude, let's.
It means you like your sides, you like your salad, and
yeah, I do.
Like I just eat the steak. I don't bother with anything else.
All right. You like to consume. You like to be more full than I do.
Yes.
I definitely do not like that feeling.
I like that feeling.
Yeah. Well, I'm excited for our podcast today.
Me too.
We had an awesome
very
guest.
different than steak.
She's just been so patiently listening to us. Just rally on Texas, and you rally on my.
Hey, but Texas is great. I love Texas.
Yeah.
But I was not stoked to be in Amarillo. And to be fair, maybe it was because I drove 14 hours to get there, but
yeah,
whatever.
Well, let's introduce our guest.
Yeah, let's do it.
Well, we've got Sarah Ebert. Sarah is the founder and CEO of a brand here locally here in Utah called Pressed Floral.
Yeah.
Pressed Floral. Tell us about Pressed Floral.
Totally, yeah. Great conversation, guys. I love steak. We could do a steak.
Do you love steak too?
Are you a steak fan?
For sure, yeah.
Perfect.
Yeah, we love to cook steak. I don't cook it. My husband does.
Your husband does.
Yeah, Press Floral is a flower preservation company here in Utah. We press and preserve sentimental arrangements and turn them into fine pieces of art.
It's so cool.
Thank you.
So cool. Well, welcome.
Thank you.
We're excited to have you here.
I'm glad she did the one-liner, not you.
I know. That's why I turned it to her. It's because I should just write it down and read it.
You should.
But I always butcher it.
It's funny because whenever companies say they're one-liners or somebody who owns a company, I feel like it's so clean and easy, and you just know that they say it actually all the time. So that's probably why it was clean for me.
Yours was good though. Very to the point.
Yeah.
Well, welcome.
Thanks.
Welcome. We're excited to have you here. Before we jump in, I just want to bring up a topic really quickly. Do we think? Well, there's two questions. Are you a Taylor Swift fan?
Yes.
You are a Swifty. Would you say you're a Swifty or just
self-described Swifty?
No, I'm not a Swifty. I think I'm a Taylor Swift fan. After I saw the Taylor Swift movie, I didn't go to the concert. Mm-hmm. I did walk out and I was like, I'd watch that movie again and I want to go to the concert, but I don't know if I could say I'm a Swifty.
Wait, was it
what's the defining line there? Like when do you become a Swifty versus a fan?
When you start protecting her online through social media comments.
Okay.
I think that is what
I think that could be it too.
Swiftie.
I think the Swifties also know everything that connects through all of their songs. They could tell you everything about her
Easter
exes,
eggs?
everything. Yes, the Easter eggs.
They call them Easter
I
eggs.
don't know those at all.
I don't either.
But I do love her. I think she's like a goddess, kind of.
I actually legitimately like her too. We talk
Yeah.
first, well, because she's been so in the media, we tend to talk about her a decent amount, like just jokingly. And we get so many people who get
She's
so
social bait, so you got to bring her up.
Oh, yeah.
And so many people get after me about it. I'm like, what you don't know is like, I actually enjoy her. Yeah. Everyone's getting mad at me, but anyways. So my question is.
Yeah, he enjoys her. I don't.
Yeah, I enjoy her.
Just kidding. It's not that I don't enjoy her. I just don't listen to her.
My daughter loves her.
She's got to have the best concert that'll ever exist in the entire world.
Ever. My wife took my 2 girls to her concert virtually, like in the movie theaters.
Yes, that's what I went to.
Okay, yeah.
But it was actually really good.
Yeah,
wait, so the movie was just her concert?
It was just the concert.
People went to a movie and it was just her concert?
Yes.
And they spent money.
Wow.
And you sing in it and you're like scream. It's kind of weird that it occurs like that. Anyways, but it was great.
Yeah.
Okay, what is it about Taylor Swift that creates such an emotional connection to her audience?
I think that first of all, it's crazy how she performs her concerts. I hear that she practiced by like running on the treadmill and singing her songs. Like that. I don't know if you guys have ever heard that.
Just to get like her like lung
her
capacity.
Endurance. Yeah. So she would sing her songs while she was running on the treadmill. And you can just tell when she's doing her concerts, she's just like untouchable. It's unstoppable marketer. That's funny. I was like, why does that sound like the podcast I'm on? But she's like unstoppable in how she performs. Nobody can compare to her. So I think that people love her because she just seems
even
like
more than
untouchable.
Beyonce.
Oh yeah,
she's bigger than Beyonce.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. I like her more than Beyonce.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, she's bigger than Beyonce now, right?
Yeah.
Like pretty cut and dry, much bigger now.
Totally.
Yeah.
Well,
what about, is it just her performance or is it her lyrics, her songs? What is it exactly that?
I mean, as a not Swifty, I'd probably say her songs and like the performance and the lyrics that go with it. How she transitioned into different types of music, but she still is like really relatable and everybody loves all of her albums.
I think that's the key word, right? The relatable.
Yeah.
Is that what you were kind of looking for?
Well, because we talked about that, right? Her theme never changed, but the genre did.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Because she was like country into pop and yeah, that was an interesting podcast episode. Well, listen, you've asked questions. These were not my questions about Taylor Swift. This is not why I brought her up. She's performing in Japan. Have you heard about this?
Yep. My sister-in-law's going to that concert.
Is she?
Yeah, she's going to Japan for it. Isn't that crazy?
Wild.
Yeah. She's half Japanese, but.
Okay.
Yeah.
So she's performing in Japan. The day
after is the Super Bowl. I think it's the day after.
Wait, tell me, is Japan ahead or behind us? You were just there?
Yeah, I was just there. It's a day fully ahead.
A day fully ahead. So so it's it's Wednesday there right now.
Correct.
Okay. So I think if I'm right, isn't she performing the night before or the like it's the 10th and the Super Bowl is the 11th? And the time she ends is exactly 13 hours before the Super Bowl starts. And the flight from where she's at to Vegas is a 13-hour flight.
Oh, yeah.
So there's all this debate if she's going to make it. I don't know if I have a question there. My question is more so, do you think this is going to be the number one most viewed Super Bowl because of her?
What do you think, Mark?
No.
You don't think so?
She's not performing, so no.
I think it will be.
I know she's not performing. That would be crazy if she was.
I think it's because of all the Swifties who all of a sudden watch football because they didn't before.
But does that mean addition? Because that's the problem, right? When you say more people, they measure that through TVs. And those people are probably in the house with the TV on anyways, but maybe they're watching more this time. So no, I don't.
You don't think more TVs will be tuned in?
I don't.
Yeah, that's a good point. I'm curious how much the difference in like a commercial cost is this Super Bowl compared to others.
That'd be very interesting if.
Yeah, because of that same thing. Maybe it's the same TVs, but you would bet that there's more viewers of all genders too.
I'd like to know what the
see, that's true. Like you could probably put a premium on it because maybe there's maybe there's more viewers.
And here's the other
per
question.
household.
How many people do you think in the Super Bowl commercials will potentially tie something Taylor Swifty to it? Or do you think she'll be in any Super Bowl commercials?
I thought Travis Kelce would be because he has been in a ton of commercials already. Yeah. So I'm sure I thought about that same thing, actually.
I wonder.
I don't know. Maybe.
We'll see.
Those are my questions. That's it.
Do you think they're a real couple?
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, that's been a good hot topic of ours.
Did you see their?
You don't think
like,
it's a PR stunt?
No, I don't think that Taylor Swift would do that.
You don't?
Unless Travis Kelce is like fooling her, but I don't think she would do that. Did you see their like after the game, the last game?
I did see that.
Running down to the field. I don't know how she ran down to the field, but I don't think it's.
They looked very lovey-dovey.
I think they're getting married, and I hope we preserve their wedding bouquet when they do. That would be crazy.
Let's go.
That's a nice plug.
Yeah.
Well,
if she's listening,
I don't think they're faking it because I think faking it would be too much effort.
What's that?
I don't think they're faking it simply because faking a relationship would be way too much effort.
Well, I think I said that maybe
like doing all of that just to fake it. Like I don't know.
Yeah.
Like really?
No, I agree.
It's not even worth whatever money could be put out by a PR firm.
Well, I think I had the theory that maybe it started out potentially like
as
a
like
PR thing.
Well, because that happens all the time.
All the time.
PR teams will line people up.
Yeah, totally. And
Interesting.
and the reason why I thought maybe that was fair is because immediately after Kelce got deals with Big Pharma commercials, so he was like promoting COVID vaccines, and I thought,
interesting.
There's a big potential motive there to get his like bolstered up,
his image and likeness.
Yeah,
interesting.
Men, because I think men were less likely to get
COVID shots
vaccination for women than women.
Really?
That's true for all vaccinations, if I'm not mistaken. Like flu shots, like women get flu shots way at a higher rate than men.
Yeah.
And why is that? Because I know a lot of friends who don't get it because of the fertility talk that maybe it like hits that. I'm shocked that it's actually the opposite.
Well, we can get fact checked on that.
Yeah, we could.
I do know for the flu shot though, like it used to be that men wouldn't. And it was more, I don't think it was really a stance. It's just that men are like just less likely to show up to the doctor.
And they don't care about their bodies and health
just
probably
like,
as much as women do.
Oh yeah, I forgot.
So I thought that maybe it was something like that, but then maybe it was like was it she's all that? You guys ever seen She's All That with Freddie Prinze Jr.?
No.
You look maybe too youthful to that. That's probably before your time.
It could have been.
But She's All That is Paul Walker, Freddie Prinze Jr. They're the popular guys in high school. They find a nerdy girl in high school, bet that he can't get her to a dance, and make her fall in love with him.
And then they fall in love.
Starts in a bet, but then they fall in love. Very romantic.
And then she's the hottest girl in the whole school.
She took off her glasses and everyone thought she was beautiful.
Took off the glasses, shook the hair.
Yep. Well, all right, enough about Taylor Swift. Tell us
teenage dramas.
Okay, so your story, how did you, like, what like propelled you to start Pressed Floral?
Yeah. It's a good question. I always wanted to be an entrepreneur, and so I was always kind of looking for that next idea, which a lot of entrepreneurs are like, you guys probably were similar. So I just thought of the idea one day. It was, as cheesy as it sounds, like one of those light bulb moments late at night, and I had never seen the concept of preserving someone's wedding bouquet, specifically between two panes of glass, like a flattened version of a beautiful piece of art. And I had never seen it before. I looked it up online, Google, social media, didn't exist. So I woke up. I had 4 jobs at that time because I was like on my own. I wanted to travel, all those things.
Wait, rewind. Are you saying that you dreamed of this?
No, it was late at night, 2 a.m. So I was like,
and you were like,
I wasn't actually dreaming, but
you were stirring.
Yes, I envisioned this, got up, was on my phone, and
The year was what?
2019.
Got it. Okay.
Yep.
Sorry.
April
proceed.
2019. And I woke up, I quit one of my jobs. It was like a call center that I hated. And I went and picked up some.
We could talk call center all day.
Did you guys used to do call center?
I'm actually curious what call center it was. What do you say?
Upwell Health.
Let's go.
Were you guys there?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Shut up.
Absolutely.
Really?
During the FBI raid, were you there?
No, I wasn't during the FBI raid because wasn't it called something else before
Alliance
Upwell Health?
Wait a second.
So I was naive to all of that. I was in Orem.
Was Matt Egan your manager?
Gosh, he was shorter, really nice. I don't know if it was Matt.
Wait, what year were you?
I worked for 2.5 weeks.
Give us
Okay.
Very short amount of time.
So you were just in and out.
I was in and out.
Were you on the sales side or the customer service side?
Sales side.
Was I?
I feel like I remember my pitch.
I was a draper.
Hi, this is Sarah from Upwell Help.
We probably built that pitch.
We did build that pitch.
Really?
Yeah.
In 2019, that was.
Would you guys would have been in that room? Like,
no, we
No.
were.
At some point, I would have. Yeah.
yeah.
2019 though, no.
Okay.
We both left in 2017, 2018.
Okay, so you guys were there when the FBI raid happened.
Yes.
Oh yeah.
Oh my gosh.
It's still. I didn't realize that the call center down there survived that long. But anyways,
I think it went out of business like that year.
Yeah.
cool. So you were there for
Great
2
decision.
weeks.
Yeah,
Great
2.5
decision.
weeks, which is great.
Oh, I'm so happy.
Yeah.
We all have a better connection now.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
We do.
hilarious.
There's been so many people we've had on the podcast that we find this out
Upwell.
mid-podcast.
That is so
like
crazy.
we're just talking and they're like, oh yeah, Upwell Health or Lancet. We're like,
I seriously feel so dumb though that I didn't know that that was the same company. Like I was so naive walking in and there was like all this FBI stuff and weird things going on. It's crazy.
Well, they never got convicted, so
yeah.
do with that what you will. But anyways,
sorry,
Yeah.
proceed. You
Yeah.
quit
you
your job.
quit your job
So I
at
quit-
the call center.
I quit that job and I went to a place that like sold already like mini like tiny pressed flowers that you can like get on Amazon or Etsy. Grabbed some, put them in a frame, and I was like, this is beautiful, this is perfect, I got to start. So I spent the rest of that summer like grabbing flowers, learning how to press them. And then I launched that August and it just honestly picked up like wildfire because nobody had seen anything like it before. So
What made it pick up like wildfire? Like, because obviously you got to get eyeballs on
Yep.
it. Was it you posting? Was it other people posting for you? Was it a
no,
little both?
yeah. So for the first 2 years, it was just me before I started hiring team members. And I started out with a giveaway. And so that really, really helped. I'm sure a lot of it was my supporters and just friends. But I remember gaining 800 followers in the first week and just being like ecstatic because I just felt like that was huge. But I did a lot of giveaways at the beginning. I would share. I'd have other people share. It just was something that, once again, people hadn't seen before. So I had clients instantly just being like, my wedding's tomorrow. Can you do it? Like all these things without even having all this foundation of my work. They just were wanting it right then and there.
wow.
Wild.
So it was cool.
2019 is right when the algorithms on Instagram started shifting more to a pay-to-play model.
Well, I'd even say it was before. I mean, like,
Well, it was 2018
yeah,
is
it's
when you really
2018, but
saw
you're in
the
so that's
plateau.
super impressive that she did
Yeah.
that in 2019.
Yeah,
Because
very
most
impressive.
people who got their initial success from Instagram, it was pre 2018.
And
Oh,
during
yeah.
the
So that's
Instagram
impressive.
boom is what we call it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I always, when
Very
I hear
impressive.
stories about like Instagram at the beginning and starting businesses, then I get kind of jealous because
Oh.
they grew really fast.
We got
You
to
shouldn't
live
because
through
there
it.
was
It
really bad habits that were built
Really?
back then by companies. Yes.
Yeah, brands
Yeah.
who started after, like you.
Yeah.
I bet. Yeah, that's a really good point. Like you don't have the habits that a lot of us got.
Yeah.
Which made it very challenging. Which makes it still to this day very challenging for brands to create good content.
Yeah. Interesting. Yeah, because
So-
it's changed a ton. I mean, we've been able to grow a lot on Instagram recently. And before, like, we grew a ton on TikTok and things just kind of changed and shifted in both ways. I mean, I feel
Yeah.
like giveaways were a big thing when I first started. Now
Yes.
they don't really help in a big way unless we want to get like emails captured. But now it's reels, video content is what really makes things grow now, I feel like.
Totally.
But back then it's different.
One question I'm curious about to
Yeah.
rewind a little bit. You said you were always entrepreneurial minded.
Yeah.
Does that come from family or
Yeah.
okay?
Yeah, so my dad was an entrepreneur. He still is. All of my siblings, my sister owns an activewear brand
Nice.
and is launching another brand in the next couple weeks that I think is going to kind of take over the world. But that might be my sister energy. I just think it's an incredible product. All of my siblings just very entrepreneurial. So we
Amazing.
grew up in an entrepreneurial family, but I don't really know if I ever knew that. Just in like the
Sure.
ways we were raised to like always do your best, like try again. I don't know, things like that. But
And what does your dad do?
he started a company called, he was co-founder in a company called the Arbinger Institute. So he wrote books like Leadership and Self-Deception, The Anatomy of Peace for the Arbinger Institute. And then he now is retired from that and has started another company called Swifty. So it's like leadership consulting for people and businesses.
Amazing.
It's great.
So do you think his leadership skills rubbed off on you?
I hope so. Being a leader is like the biggest task now for sure. So I think so. We've actually had him, like my leadership team has read his books and
Nice.
one of his books, and they've come in and done like a consulting like 360 with my management team before, which has been awesome. So
Amazing.
I think so.
How
Yeah.
big's your team?
We have 42 now.
Wow. That's
Yeah.
a big team.
That's a very big team.
Very
Are
big
how
team.
many of those employees are artists? Like
So
putting it together?
yep, in we obviously have a very labor intensive product.
Sure.
So in our like operations production department is the majority of them. And on our like marketing team, socials, PR, management, oh goodness, I think we probably have like 12.
Got it.
Yeah.
Very cool.
That's amazing.
My
Yeah,
grandma
thanks.
is going to be my grandma, we talk about her a lot. She is like an avid listener
Oh,
to
cool.
this podcast.
Yes.
And
Hi, Grandma.
She loves pressing flowers.
That's so cool. Yeah.
Like every bookmark, she makes them into bookmarks. Like every time I see her, I feel like somebody in my family gets a picture. She'll like go develop pictures
Yeah.
and like a pressed flower.
Cute.
Oh,
So,
funny.
yeah, she's really into it.
Yeah.
So she's going to love this.
She will. It's
Yeah.
cute when we have like grandmas come into our shop because they'll always be like, I press flowers all the time or things like that. Because it's a very traditional thing to do.
Yeah.
I didn't create pressing flowers.
Totally.
So how did you come up with this idea? Like did you see a pressed flower and then it just popped up in your head again? Or, I mean, what was going on in your life at that time where you think?
I think that's what it was. So I worked at a bridal shop store as a sales consultant. My sister was getting married, so one of my first bouquets that I was proud of was my sister's that I pressed. And I did an internship with a company called Utah Brides. So I think weddings was in my mind, and also like I want to start a business. I want to quit my sales call center job and all my other jobs mind. So yeah, that's where it came from. I think it was just like my stage of life.
That's so cool.
Mm-hmm.
At what point in time were you able to, like, because you say right when you get started, it's like you're getting people who are reaching out to you like crazy because, hey, my wedding's tomorrow. Like,
Yeah.
How was managing that in those like
Yeah.
early stages? Like,
Yeah. It was, first of all, just really exciting because I was like, oh my goodness. I was charging like $100 or $200 at that time. And I just was like planning out my whole month and all these things. So it was just exciting to begin with. So I was able to like manage it well. It was just all through text or DMs. I didn't have a website.
Sure.
People would Venmo me. I would go to people's weddings and pick up their flowers or their house. Like I would pick up and drop off, things like that. And so as I grew, then I got like a website so people could book online without needing me. And then I eventually got some like my sisters and roommates and people to help me. So yeah, as far as like managing all of them, I don't know, it was just mostly exciting. So it was like if somebody was messaging me, I wanted to like get back to them quick because I was stoked.
Wait, so what's the turnaround time then?
It's long, so it depends on the time of year. Like October, November are our busiest months. So it can range anywhere from 12 to 18 weeks.
And I guess my second question is, how soon do they need to get you the flowers?
Within like 5 days.
Within 5 days.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so there's a 5-day window from the event, and then the turnaround. But I was actually curious about that.
Yeah. So most people,
when they need to get it to you, or else it's just no good.
So most people probably decided going into their wedding that they're going to do this.
Yes.
Got it.
Most people do, or they're at their wedding, they love their bouquet, they don't want to throw it away. So most of our bookings happen on like Sundays or Mondays after an event happened. And then they'll ship us their flowers.
And so how do they find you if is this most like Google search? Like how does a woman or man
Yeah. Anybody.
done with their wedding, for example, there's a bouquet and they're sitting there getting kind of sad.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, like we're just going to throw this away?
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
How do they find you at that
That's
point?
our ideal client. We get people, we have great social media presence. So Instagram, maybe they knew about us.
They do.
I'm sure maybe at weddings, there's like, are you going to preserve your wedding bouquet? Things like that. Oh, I didn't think about that. I hope that kind of stuff is happening. We also have really great SEO presence. So if you Googled, we'd be up there.
Oh, serious?
Yeah.
Amazing.
Because I'd imagine, there's got to be SEO heavy
Totally.
play
because
for
they
them.
create a lot of good content around how to do it or whatever.
Yeah, because like what are they doing? Like I don't think people are searching floral preservation in Instagram a whole lot.
Yeah. They probably are
Maybe now. Yeah.
But most of our clients come from Google.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Awesome.
So
That's
I wish we could track better where they originally knew about us, which could have been through Instagram or somebody else. But yeah, we have good.
So you're going on year 5.
Year 5.
Coming up on year 5 in April.
So August 4th will be our 5th
April
birthday.
was the idea.
Mm-hmm.
August is when you LLC.
Yeah, exactly.
I think August of 2019 is when we LLC'd
Really?
our business.
And April to August was just, Venmo, right?
Yeah.
Ideation.
Wait, what? Sorry. No.
It was under the table Venmo.
No.
Oh, no. So from April
That's
so
when
August,
she was training herself.
Oh,
yeah,
you
yeah,
were just
that's when I was
training.
training myself.
That's your training.
August honestly wasn't LLC creation. It was like Instagram launched, everyone knows about me.
Got it.
And then January 1.
How many hours do you think you had to put in to master it? Were you just doing this
well,
like all
even for
day,
my
every
first
day?
year, I was mastering it. So that's so hard to answer. Because when I look at the bouquets that I did at the very beginning, I'm like, dang it. It was beautiful and great and awesome. But like us now compared to then, doesn't even compare.
Sure.
Like we are so good at color retention, structure retention. I think that we are the absolute most expert. We have the expertise in preservation above anything else.
And style, right?
Yeah.
What have you done to like, okay, so you start in 2019 and it's just like organically taking off. What have been some of the biggest moments that have helped you scale your business?
Yeah. That's a good question. I think that lots of big changes in social media were really helpful. So 2 years in is when I started hiring team members and we moved into a shop. Before that, I was doing it all out of my backyard. Okay. And that was when TikTok was taking off, and TikTok was a big thing for us.
Because you're talking 2020, right?
This is 2021.
2021?
Yeah, this is 2021.
And that's TikTok heat.
Yep.
Big time.
Bigger than like it ever is right now. I mean, we'll get viral videos every once in a while, but then it was like viral. We were growing like crazy. We got to 187,000 followers in like a few months, but that helped us a ton that year. Just like TikTok brand awareness, Instagram kept growing, and it just came a lot from like that organic content. We didn't do any of like that paid stuff, we didn't do paid emails, SMS, ads, or anything like that really at that time. We got into a big article. This is when I learned like SEO is big, and I think it's something that's like great for our brand, especially because of the exact thing you guys were talking about. Yeah. But we got into a big article in brides.com, so that helped a ton with our SEO, and like we still get people who come from that article and become clients of ours.
So cool.
Which is really cool. And so influencers.
I think Trevor claimed that you proclaimed that SEO was dead a year ago on this podcast.
With a caveat.
I hope not.
With problem solution brands, it is not. And you walk the fine line of a want and a problem solution.
Yeah.
And so I think I've always said that. That's my caveat.
That's true.
For Lore Jewelry, which I pointed at her because she's wearing it. She told us that she's a customer.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. Is that crazy?
Yeah. That is crazy.
I actually wear these earrings like I probably haven't taken off for like 8 months.
Shout out to Kara.
And that's all. Say that again.
Kaysville natives.
You haven't taken those off for 8 months?
Yeah. I got them for my birthday. So August, actually.
That's why we built those earrings, was so that women never had to take them off. Tarnish proof, lifetime warranty.
Yep, they don't hurt me. Everybody shop at Lore. Give me a code.
Lifetime warranty.
We will get you a code. Shout out to Kara.
Is it lifetime warranty?
On that stuff. Yep.
Yeah.
We call it our everyday collection.
Nice, yeah.
Lifetime tarnish warranty.
That's so cool.
If you like go break it yourself, not warranted, but tarnish proof,
Dang, I love that. I actually have a warranty on. I love when things have warranty. I just got a new suitcase because it broke.
Warranties are great.
They're awesome.
Warranties are good. Well, that's awesome. Sorry.
But
side note.
Yeah, the SEO, problem solution. So,
yeah.
And
not dead there.
So you were put into brides.com.
Mm-hmm.
Well, yeah, and it makes sense that why SEO is to be so important for your product. Because there's an educational piece to this where I think sometimes people are like, oh, maybe I can do it.
Yep.
And then they probably read about it and they're like, oh, actually,
I want to put this into professionals' hands.
Yeah. Like I want to turn this into a piece of art, not just maybe something that I mess up.
Yeah.
Speaking of that, like you said something that's interesting. Like you get probably a ton of people who think they can do this on their own, right?
Yeah.
And I'm sure because of that, you've also had a ton of people who have started their own companies.
Yeah.
That kind of copy or mimic, do similar things to you. What have you guys done to build your brand so that people decide this is, because it's like either I can do this myself, I can go find somebody who's maybe cheaper, because I'm sure there are people who are cheaper than you.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Or I'm going to go to Press Floral. What have you guys done to have it so that you can continue to grow and be successful?
Yeah, I think that's great. And there's a lot of like loaded things to go with that. But to kind of back up your question, people who ruin their flowers, it's so sad. And we have a lot of people who kind of market for us, because when we do have things that go viral or just like videos on whatever it may be, or just in our emails, we'll get a lot of comments that are like, I tried this myself. I sent this to my sister, somebody who like said that they could do it. My flowers molded, they browned, they lost, whatever it was. Cause it really, anybody can press like wildflowers, small little flowers. Sure. But if you try and press a rose, I guarantee both of you guys would mold it like right now. Or proteas, like succulents. We can press succulents, like all these things that.
Well, it's funny she's saying that because when you were talking about bookmarks, my boys just pressed wildflowers.
Yes.
And gave them as bookmarks.
Yeah. Yeah, cute.
To their grandmas.
Yeah.
And, but yeah, apparently wildflowers are really easy. I don't know why.
Yeah.
It's why are wildflowers easy?
They're thin. They don't have a ton of water in them. So they're basically already dry. You just have to flatten them to what they need to be.
This podcast episode is brought to you by Bestie. Bestie is the first ever AI-powered post-purchase survey platform. Bestie is revolutionizing the way you understand your customers. Are you uncertain about what motivates your customers to choose your products? Unsure how customers are discovering your brand or which marketing channels are most effective in driving sales to your website? Or do you know how long it takes your customers to make a purchase decision? Look no further because Bestie is the ultimate solution for you. With Bestie's cutting-edge AI feature, you can effortlessly create comprehensive surveys in just a matter of seconds without the need for any of your valuable time. And that is not all. Bestie's automated insights will regularly provide you with actionable information week over week, giving you the tools to drive your business forward. Now, with the holiday season in full swing, there is no better time to start gathering valuable customer data. Bestie is offering an exclusive 30% discount for Q4 alongside a 14-day free trial. Do not miss out on this opportunity to supercharge your business and truly get to know your customers. As e-commerce owners and agency owners ourselves, we use Bestie every single day to help us make better decisions on how we communicate, acquire, and grow our customers. Visit Bestie AI or check out apps.shopify.com/bestie today to secure your Q4 pricing. Don't wait. Start making data-driven decisions with Bestie today.
So like we came out with Press Floral Journal that you can press flowers into it. We give you the instructions you need and you can like keep those memories. And it's built for flowers like that. But sunflowers, peonies, like think about these flowers that would just get destroyed if you put them in a book. Totally. So anyways, we have a lot of people who have kind of marketed for us in the sense of I tried this myself and it didn't work. And so when you have something that's so special and it should be once in a lifetime, when it comes to wedding bouquets, but we also do like memorial arrangements. We recreate things if they got married years and years ago, then you really only have one chance to do it. And so it really depends on how sentimental our clients are and how much they love like the flowers that they have, because you don't want to take the chance or the risk that they'll get ruined, because press floral won't ruin them. Because it's one and done,
Yeah, if you mess it up, it's gone.
Have you guys ever used any of those comments or reviews about how I tried this on my own or whatever? And do you guys do paid ads?
Yeah, we do paid ads. We're like revamping right now. I'm curious your thought. Go ahead. Keep going.
Because
we should. We should do something like
that.
that.
You should be using those social comments as
that
ads.
would be an absolute epic ad.
We use them for like other TikToks or Reels, but we totally should use it for like an actual paid ads. Yeah.
Yeah.
Retargeting would crush.
Yeah, we'll do that.
That's
what's fascinating about your process is it's really a two-part process. So like for someone to say, I'm going to do it on my own, there's the preservation. Mm-hmm. So there's the science of preservation, which you just kind of explain why wildflowers are easy.
Yep.
And then why other flowers are harder.
Yep.
And then you have the artistic side.
Yep, 100%.
So the presentation of the preservation.
Yes. Yeah.
And so what makes you guys, so you kind of describe why you're unique for preservation.
You need to go work for them.
You're welcome.
Just hire me up. Yeah. I'll go work at Press Floral.
No, but you are nailing it. You're nailing it. Yeah.
Right? Sorry, ask your question.
Yeah, just send me on. I'll just go on a speaking tour to every wedding.
Yeah.
I'll just show up like a snake oil salesman outside.
Yeah.
So the preservation, the science, and then the presentation and the art.
Yeah.
So what makes you guys so much better, not just at the preservation, but now you have the presentation. Yeah. Where do you think you became the artistic?
Totally. Yeah. So our style's beautiful. I mean, everybody has a certain style, just like in photography, if you like it or not. But that was one of the hardest things for me to train when I was first hiring team members, because it was like so specific to me and my eye and what I thought looked good. And it isn't just easily trainable. It is like a very trained art that my entire design team has learned. And so, yeah, I mean, our style is very specific to press floral, how we design things. We have had people be like, I press my own flowers. I can't get it to look good. Like, will you design it for me?
Yeah.
Things like that. But we press all of our flowers based off of how we design, and it all just blends together, as well as our frames, like the glass that we use, the backing that we use, everything is like the best quality. It's meant to last forever, for generations and generations to come. So you're right. The science behind the preservation is something that if you don't know how to do that, you will destroy your flowers. You won't even have a chance to design. And it is a big artistry in and of itself. And then taking it to the design stage is like the next part, where you could have great pressed flowers, but being able to make it look good, you need an artist.
Yeah.
So originally you said, not originally, but before in this podcast, you mentioned that sometimes you look back and you're like, oh, because I'm sure you gain more skills and eye for the artistry. So how did you develop that? Was it just practice? Did you take any like art classes? Like, how did you come up with this entire process for creating this art?
Yeah. I mean, I've been creative from the beginning. So I've always loved like the creative aspect of a lot of things. I think a lot of it also came down to preservation and learning to preserve certain blooms in different ways that are actually better, because you can't create a piece of art if you don't press the sunflower correctly or whatever it may be. And so how we've also preserved flowers has morphed that design over time, and just practicing with all different types of arrangements, because no bouquet is the same. And so practice time, I mean, I think that's hard. I think that any artist would just be like, it's something that has just been like taught and thought in my mind of what looks beautiful and great. And then I've had to teach that to other people.
Yeah.
So.
And what's been the biggest challenge of teaching that?
Everyone kind of has their own eye for what is beautiful to them. So you kind of have to morph that in some people's eyes. If they're like, I want to design it this way. Okay, well, that's not the pressed floral style and design. But we also have clients who want us to do abstract. We have abstract different ways that we can design things. And so that's the hardest part, is when you kind of have to morph maybe a designer's view on what they think would look good into something that's, because we need to standardize what our final design will look like, which is beautiful, but also something else could be beautiful, but we need to know like what our clients can expect for what the final piece will look like.
Yeah, because consistency is probably better than one-hit wonders, right?
Right.
Consistently great rather than
right.
like, oh, let's try to change our process and our standard. Because you have the preservation side, then you have to present it, and pressing flowers, like you just said, is completely different, right? The way you can even shape certain flowers, and so. Yeah, that's real. I mean, that's just really interesting. Like the artistic side, because selling art is hard.
Totally. And it's custom art.
For sure.
We are artists. Yeah.
I think
there's a reason why it's called starving artists.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Because it's hard to sell art.
Totally. I don't really have, this isn't a question. This is just a thought that I'm just like having.
Yeah.
What I love about this kind of discussion is Mark and I have talked a lot about on the podcast that there's this line that constantly comes up, is like, behind every great marketer or brand is a better product. And what I love about your business is you guys are always having to make your product better. Every time an artist designs a piece, they're practicing and getting better at what they do.
Sure.
And you're probably making, I don't know what the like mistake rate is on these. I don't know if you guys count something like that or if you're looking at those things, but I'm sure the amount of mistakes go down. I'm sure the like amount of client reviews go up. But I love this because I think that there are so many people out there who are just creating products. Like we live in a day and age nowadays where it's hard to have your 2019 epiphany moments. April 2019 at 2 a.m. of, oh my gosh, no one's doing this.
Right.
There's just, I think with the creator economy and how there's so much content out there and just so many people out there giving out ideas of how to go make money, right? Yep. You see those TikToks all the time. Hey, here's 10 ways you can go make money. You know, it gets more and more challenging to find new creative ideas. And so most people are selling and copying from other people. And so that's why I think it's so wildly important that you can't, it's just not enough to have a good product anymore.
Yeah.
Like you have to have a great product.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And on top of that, build a brand that's very, very cool or sentimental or special, whatever, you want to tie yourself to. So once again, this was not a question. Mm-hmm. Just this is where my mind's kind of going with some of this stuff. I think it's really cool.
Well, I also love that what you've done is you've entered into what most people might be scared to enter into, which is a very saturated competitive market, right? The bridal space. And even, I know you do more than just that, but I'm assuming at the beginning, the vast majority of your
there's a
customers
lot of
were bridals.
Yeah,
customers.
Bridals. Mm-hmm.
So that's a crazy competitive, quote, most people say saturated market, but because you introduced something that was innovative and new, you were just able to break through that market. Totally. And obviously because of the marketing and your social strategies, right?
Yeah.
So it speaks volumes to just like, I think sometimes people just say, why? Or it's competitive, but that didn't even cross your mind once. You just went for it.
Totally. I mean, we had a vast ocean of opportunity because it was a whole new industry that Press Floral created.
Totally.
So I've always thought that the bridal world is actually a great world to enter if you can do it in a way that's not saturated.
Yeah.
Because people will always get married and
it's true.
They'll always want to spend money on their weddings because they should.
It's very true.
Unless they're in Utah.
Unless they're in Utah, they're more budgeted. Yes.
Have you noticed a difference, because statistically people are getting married less? Has that impacted your business at all, or are you not really seeing?
Well, I can actually.
That?
Yeah. What do you want to answer that?
No, you go ahead.
Sorry, your face was saying you haven't really looked into that, but you're right. But it's the same thing as people are having less kids, but they spend more per kid. So your wallet share isn't going down, even though marriages have maybe not gone up as a growth rate.
Yeah.
For population. So even though you're having less people as a percent get married at certain ages, people spend far more on their weddings.
Interesting.
We also, I think the last 2 years were the biggest 2 years of weddings historically because of COVID,
yeah.
And then the aftermath of them.
Yeah.
Everyone wanted a big event.
They had to postpone. Yeah. And so I'm sure that's probably the case, but also with maybe weddings decreasing, it's still an industry. We have such a small percentage of the potential market. Still people are I didn't even know that this is something I could do. So I still think there's a ton of opportunity.
And I don't think it's shrinking. I just think the growth rate.
Yeah.
Right. But just because it goes with population, but because less of the population is getting married.
But it's true. Less people are
totally.
Deciding they want to get married all the time.
But they spend more money.
Of the last 4 years in business, which of those 4 years was was the year where you were oh my gosh,
that was the year.
I can't believe that this happened.
I know that's hard because it's been every year because we've been able to we've had such great growth years. Not this last year, but the year before is when we moved from my first location, which was 1,000 square feet, to our current location now that's about 6,800.
Cool.
We started in one side and we expanded to the other actually just last year, but that jump I feel was really big and seemed risky because of how big of the space it was. But we grew a ton that year. We added a ton of people to our team. So I feel that was probably a really foundational, pivotal year.
Awesome.
Because of that. But once again, we do keep, there's a lot of innovation still available kind of in this space. So
for sure.
Yeah. All the years have been great.
What's been your favorite accomplishment in the last 4 years with this?
I think.
For example, I was watching one of your TikToks and you were pleading for people to help you get in touch with anthropology.
Yes.
So it sounds like that's a huge
accomplishment that they reached out to me. We have a sample sent to them. Yeah.
Nothing's come yet?
Not yet.
Got it.
Hopefully. Okay. My biggest accomplishment. Oh, I think that there's a lot of really massive influencers we've been able to work with that have been big accomplishments for us. We've gotten a lot of people in the Bachelor space. So I don't know if you guys watch The Bachelor or The Bachelorette, but
I do.
Do you? Are you watching it today?
Trevor's
Joey?
Yeah, of course. He's awesome.
He's the Bachelor's biggest fan right here.
Yeah, I love The Bachelor.
I'm a bigger Bachelor in Paradise guy.
Yeah, me too.
To be honest with you.
I am too.
Can I say something though?
Yeah.
Have you ever heard of the brand Evora watches? Does that sound familiar?
No.
Rigdon. if he's listening to this. I actually think he does listen to this. He looks just like the Bachelor. It's
really
crazy. I'll show you a comparison.
The new Bachelor.
Yeah,
That's great.
Looks
It's
just
a great
like
compliment.
Joey.
Yeah,
and he's a handsome guy.
Yeah.
So Rigdon, there you go. Sorry.
No,
Go
it's
ahead.
fine. It's fine. It's fine. But I think there's a lot of big things. I can't think of them off the top of my head. But I think that was every single one of those. We saw such great brand awareness for us. So getting people on the Bachelor, because there's influencers in Utah and they all kind of are the same demographic of people sometimes. And so when we've got people who are outside of the state of Utah and have like this big Bachelor following or whatever it may be, and we actually see big surges, I thought those were really great. Being featured in different sort of articles, but we had a big event where we had like over 500 people show up. That was something that was big. There's all these different pivotal moments where I feel like really added to our brand and brand awareness. It's hard to pick up one. I hope Anthropology snags us because that'll be a big one. Yeah,
that's a really, really cool thing.
Yeah,
we got the chance to do something with Anthropology.
You did?
Yeah.
What did you do with them?
We did a custom diaper bag.
Oh, with Fawn.
Yeah.
That is so cool.
And so we got to go out to their headquarters in Philly.
Dang.
And design it all with their design team.
Wow.
And it was like one of the coolest.
Yeah, shout out to Jenny.
Yeah, one of the coolest career moves that I got to participate in.
That is so
I did not do any of the design work.
Yeah, Jenny did.
But I facilitated the entire thing.
Yeah, that's so cool. Great. Just for like even brand awareness. I don't know what the financial impact was for that. I'm sure it was still massive.
The brand awareness was awesome.
But the brand awareness and the experience and like, that's just really cool.
Well, I'm excited for you. That's awesome.
And there's something just to be included in maybe a company that you've looked up to.
Totally.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I mean, the store, the way our store looks, the storefront, I've always said from the beginning, we want Anthropology vibes, like earthy, beautiful, bright colors, fun, flirty, that kind of thing. And so, yeah, I feel like we match well.
And what you're talking about, the influencers, that's really keen because we talk about it all the time, is that, you know, people always have a hot take about influencers.
Mm-hmm.
But what you said is people don't know how to differentiate, like that a lot of influencers might have crossover with their audience and the kinds of people that follow them.
Yep.
Where you were narrowing down on these Bachelor contestants, I'm assuming, right?
Yeah.
Or Bachelorette.
Contestants is the right word.
Yeah.
So, okay.
Participants, contestants,
actors,
lovers,
actors.
Yeah.
Well,
sometimes.
Sometimes.
Are they? I don't know.
TV stars.
Reality
TV stars. Yeah.
And you found like that was your niche and you just like went after it and then it validified your brand going forward.
That's a pretty cool thing because there are a lot of people who try to tap into the Bachelor Nation. That's what they call it, Bachelor Nation.
Yes. Yeah.
And it doesn't work for a lot of them because one of the reasons why a lot of people, this is my theory, okay? Mm-hmm. One of the reasons why a lot of people try to tap into the Bachelor contestants is because they almost overnight become influencers.
Yep.
Okay.
Right? And so they don't understand to the same extent as people who grew up saying, I'm going to be an influencer, I'm going to build my life to do that. They don't understand the rules as much. And so sometimes it's easier to connect to some of those people because they went from 5,000 followers or 2,000 followers to
and so they're just excited about
followers,
it all.
and so they're just excited. And so sometimes it's just a little easier to connect them. They may not have as
an experienced PR guy or
whatever.
I
don't know, and so a lot of people try to go into that market, but what's nice about you is you're so like Bachelor is so tied to weddings and love that is what your business is tied to too.
Yeah.
Because even at Fawn, we tried to tie into that and it was less about love and more about babies. And it didn't work as much for us because of that,
Yeah.
So I love that you guys found that little niche. That's really cool.
Well, the thing that's great about our product, and I think it's important for all types of brands, is to find someone who will genuinely love what you create so that you can get content that actually converts people. Because you could just tell when somebody's being robotic about something.
Yeah.
And so we've worked with we've worked with Simone Biles this last year, which was crazy.
Wow. Nice.
She actually didn't end up posting us, but her sister did.
Did she get married?
Yeah, she got married.
To that Green Bay guy, right?
I don't know. Was he the guy who was pretending like he didn't know who she was?
Yes. Yeah. I was just going to say, like,
I think
we don't even know who he is.
There was a lot of drama about that.
I know people were, why would he lie about that though?
I don't know. He probably didn't, but it's just like weird how he said it.
Yeah. Yeah. It could totally be true.
Yeah.
It is crazy though.
It was just
like,
how he did
she's
it.
the biggest.
Yeah, she's crazy. She's wildly famous.
Athletes.
Yeah. So she was big. The thing is, it's just one of those things that if you want it, it's priceless, and you just are so emotionally tied to the service that Press Floral has. And so when we reach out to them, we get ghosted all the time, and Bachelor Nation sometimes is hard to capture. But when somebody does see a message from Press Floral, if it's something that they want, they're all over it.
I'm betting that. Do you get a lot of people who big influencers who actually reach out to you? I bet your guys' product just seems like that type of product where you, not to say that your team still doesn't have to work extremely hard to get to certain people, but I bet you guys get some good people who reach out to you because you've made a great product and you are solving a problem.
Well, and you said it earlier, you guys created a new category, right?
Totally. And if you want to get your wedding bouquet preserved, I'm the founder, so sure, maybe I'm biased, but also I truly believe we are like the best person on the market to be able to do it. The best quality and the best outcome of how your flowers will turn out. And so hopefully if somebody wants to get their wedding bouquet preserved, they'll reach out to us. And so we do get influencers who will reach out to us. We'll get lots of different types of people who will ask if we'll do something like that.
You don't have to be modest either. You can just say you are the best.
Yeah. We hope we can always be. We're just getting started.
You're not biased. You're just the best.
No, it's true. It's true.
That's
not biased.
awesome.
We are.
Okay, so tell me this. We asked, what was your biggest, most exciting thing? What's maybe been the biggest mistake you've made to date?
Yeah.
If you're willing.
No, for sure.
In the marketing front.
Sure.
Totally. Yeah, because there's lots of mistakes everywhere. But actually fits in perfect because of the influencer world. And we had a really, probably the biggest influencer that has ever reached out to us. They have 9 million followers on Instagram or something like that. And yeah, it's probably our biggest mistake just on how we were sort of approaching it. So some background on it, we were just sort of learning how to approach influencers, and we got burned a little bit before this from an influencer. We created a beautiful product. They didn't post about it because we don't contract or anything like that. We just know we believe in our product and we know they'll love it, and so they'll share it. Yeah. And if they don't, then they don't. But if they do, it'll be genuine.
You don't pay anybody?
We don't pay anyone. We give them our product for free.
That's awesome.
But then we get genuine responses, genuine reactions, because once again, it's priceless, and we don't want robotic videos. And so anyways, we had this influencer reach out to us, 9 million plus followers, so wild. And we were trying to mitigate, okay, we really want them to post about us. TikTok is where we've seen great feedback. And so we were going back and forth on okay, we would love if you shared on TikTok, whatever. And it was kind of I can't say I will, Instagram stories maybe. And then we kind of pushed again and we got ghosted. And then when we reached out again, we found out that they decided to go a different direction and ended up getting not getting their bouquet preserved by us, which was, I don't know what the financial impact would have been from that.
Sure.
But 9 million followers, and if they did end up posting about us.
And this is kind of earlier in
this is a couple years ago.
The growth rate?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So it would have been, it's tough. It's tough. It's one of those things we learned from. And
do you feel like that happened because you guys were trying to push them a little bit more?
Yes, 100%. Yeah. I think that if we would have just been and this is exactly what we do now, and we were just at the learning phases. If we would have just been no, we'll just gift it to you. We're not going to ask you to do anything. Yeah. I know they would have posted about it, and at least I hope they would have. So yeah, that one was a tough one.
That's harsh. Yeah. How many of the people that you do it for free? If you had to tie a percentage, how many of them end up posting about you?
I think we've only had 1 or 2 not.
Wow.
That's so cool.
Mm-hmm. And we've worked with 50-ish probably.
I know brands are different, but would you advise that for most brands is to just gift instead of trying to pay for assassins?
I think it probably does depend on the brand. As a viewer, I've noticed robotic behavior so easily. So if someone's telling you how to post an ad, what verbiage to use, things like that, I can tell when it's not organic and real. So there has to be some genuine aspect to it, I think. But not all companies probably can pull that off. Sure. I don't know.
Yeah. No, I think that makes a lot of sense.
Especially if it's something that people can live without. Yeah. But if you want to get your bouquet preserved and you want it done by us, then you're going to get it done by us regardless. But if it's shampoo, it's something like that. Okay, I don't need to post about this because I'm not tied to it emotionally.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, it seems like you have a really good eye and also just feel for your audience and what they want to see. So you just said, if it doesn't feel real to you from the influencer side, then you don't want your brand to kind of reflect fake.
Totally.
How do you look at your ads and the kind of ad creation or creatives that you use to make sure that it resonates with your audience?
Yeah. Ads are honestly something that we're still always working on, but using like very high quality content for us has been something that's important, and like showing what this product is in like a home or with you, and like really keying into those words of like, don't let your flowers die. Like these are meant to live on for generations and generations to come. It's not just something that you'll love for a short amount of time. It's something that you can pass down to your kids. And so it's really come down to copyright and the quality of content we have. We haven't done UGC. Like there's things
That's
like that.
That's what I was going to ask. So you kind of avoid UGC. I'm glad you brought that up, because I think the trend right now is everyone jumped on UGC.
Yeah.
But you've identified for your brand, you want to portray maybe high quality, longevity. So you spend more kind of attention or time into higher quality creative. So can you define higher quality creative for listeners?
Yeah. A camera, like not iPhone, which it's kind of different than the trends of what people are saying, but
your product is different.
It's different, and it's higher value, and it takes a lot more thought for somebody to decide that they want to use that. But high quality meaning we use a camera for basically all of our footage on all of our social content. So also, cool. For all of our Instagram stories, it's always a camera, and then obviously all of our posts, and then reels if we're doing something that's more of an aesthetic. But UGC, just the way that UGC works, where you send somebody a product, and if it's not just theirs, it's right down to the same thing as before, where I don't feel like it's a genuine reaction to what our product is. And so we do have smaller price products that UGC could work for, and we should try. But yeah, UGC, not for our ads, at least what we've tried so far.
Yeah.
Also, how much of that is because, what am I trying to say? To present your product, colors, like the true color ratio, or what do you call that, Abby? Like what's the color? Making sure the real color comes through on a camera.
Saturation?
Whatever it's called.
The detail, the texture,
the detail
everything.
And the texture and the color. And you're dealing with frames too, so you can get glare.
Yeah.
Yep.
So an iPhone isn't going to be able to capture it in certain kinds of lighting or whatever.
Yeah, it's kind of like a iPhone and a sunset. It's never going to catch the same way that
a true DSLR camera.
You're not going to buy a piece of art if it's like recorded to you with an iPhone kind of thing.
Yeah.
Same kind of concept.
Like the Mona Lisa won't ever look better on an iPhone camera. Well, eventually maybe, but
maybe.
Right now.
Well, I actually think, I mean, I like that you, like what you guys both said, your product's different. It's a little higher end. So that's why the trends maybe aren't necessarily for you in this situation. And I really love this concept, because I think, another thing that a lot of businesses get caught up is we get so caught up in watching what everyone else is doing. Everyone else is on iPhones right now. So therefore I need to have iPhone. Everyone else is using user-generated content. And we're not saying that that's bad.
Right. No, it's not. It works really
very
well.
good for many brands. But I love that you kind of like, your true north isn't what everyone else is doing. Your true north is what you guys feel like you need to do. And so I think that's another really important piece here for us to remember, is like, there's this book by Marty Neumeier called Zag. Have you ever heard of this book before? I'm not a big book guy, so I don't love to like pitch books, but there's this book. It's a small read.
It's also hard to throw them.
That's true. Yeah, very true.
I don't like I like pitch ball.
Yeah. Thank you. But it's called Zag, right? And the whole purpose of this book, he introduces this idea that it's called the good different chart. And there's 4 different quadrants. And good is going up and down, and different is going right and left. And where you really want to be on this quadrant you don't want to be down here in the quadrant closest to the corner, because that is not good and not different. right? You don't want to be up at the very top because that's good and not different.
Yep.
You don't want to be down on the bottom but to the far right because that's not good and different. You want to be up here where you're good and different. And so I think sometimes when you get so caught up in watching what everyone else is doing, you become what everyone else is, and therefore you don't stand out. The premise of that book is zag. So when everyone's zigging, you should zag.
Interesting.
There you go.
I like that.
Marty.
I think that applies to a lot of different things.
It does.
Ways like other people that are in your industry are doing things, way that a whole different industry, just like the trends of everything. If you want to stick out, you really have to have your own ways that you're doing things.
100%.
And so we try to cue in on telling emotional stories. Like these flowers have meaning beyond just a wedding day. Maybe they selected these flowers because they have the same name as their grandma who passed away a few years ago, or just different things that these flowers are truly priceless. And so we tell the stories, we cue into people's emotions, or really making sure that we're capturing the quality. It's hard for us to find other companies that are similar in tactics, as in it applies to a lot of different things. If we need an ad to be able to work in some production sense because of a problem we have, it is a very unique business. Essentially, we've taken something that you do on Etsy and built it on a large scale. And so there are a lot of things that I feel like we have to do differently. But it is something that our viewers like because it is something that they don't see all the time. Totally. So I think it works in our favor.
Has it been hard for you to maintain that uniqueness? Have you ever been tempted? She's like, oh, we should just do a ton of UGC and like jump into a trend.
Oh yeah, for sure. Especially if you're like honing in on somebody else and how fast they're growing, or like in any type of business, I think it's easy for people to be like, oh, I need to do this. But it's good to have people on my team who, our brand director, she really like levels me out on what are you talking about? Like, you're not even on that level. Yeah. You don't even think about that kind of.
I was going to tie this back to like the leadership. I was going to ask you about that. Is how do you maintain your brand stays on the straight and narrow for what you guys are doing?
Yeah.
Instead of getting distracted by all these other companies or potential competitors.
Yeah. I don't really hone in on our other potential companies that could be similar to us. There's different people on my team that is their job to make sure that we're always we need to be aware, but I don't want what other people are doing to sway what our path is and like the decisions we make for things. So when it comes to brand and making sure, I mean, we just hired a brand director. She used to be my assistant. And she's now working on how we can make sure that communication in all levels of production are the same and tied to our brand and content for all of our platforms. But yeah, does that answer your question on it? Just, I think out of sight, out of mind, to make sure that I have such a clear vision on where I want Press Floral to go. And when I look at the way other people are doing things in any type of business, sometimes it helps, but really like honing in on this path. Okay, how can we get there? And then resort, like having other people who can help me with their resources is something.
Any brands, I know you said Anthropology, but any other brands that are like your inspiration? Maybe not your competitors, obviously, but like people who are inspiring you to go. Yeah,
I love Made by Mary. I love Mary Moody. I don't know if you guys know her, but I love just like their concept of telling stories with their accessories and their luxury brand. I love even like Thread. I love Mackenzie and Colby, but they build stories behind what they do and create. But we also looked at companies like Cozy Earth or Purple, these places that have higher end products. They're like priced higher and they're luxury in their space. Okay, like what do they do? How can we like learn from them? Things like that.
Super smart.
Yeah.
One last question I have for you before we kind of wrap things up is like, what's one of the biggest mistakes you're just seeing brands today, 2024, making?
Yeah, and maybe this is all kind of like a tie-in, but I feel like the biggest mistake brands are making is being robotic with things, either based off of what they're learning on. When I can tie it back to exactly is in emails or captions, I can tell if something's being generated by ChatGPT. Things like that seem maybe robotic or just doing things like others are doing, but really figuring out your brand and the voice you want to portray and the types of photography that you want to put out there in content. And sticking to that, I think, is what's important, and not being robotic with the way that you present your stuff.
Yeah, I like that. Literally robotic and.
Yeah, AI is literally robotic.
Right, but how do you, or what would your advice be to a company or a fellow founder or marketer to stay authentic, right? Like, how do they listen to their own intuition rather than just trying to copy and paste?
Yeah. I think it all comes down to people's why on like what they are creating. I mean, business owners are creating businesses to build them and create a great brand that can build their life to be what they want, but also like, what do you believe in your product and why are you selling that? And why we do Press Floral is to be able to give something that they can remember forever from a memory or a person or something special. And so honing in on that and then making everything else come from that, I think is what is so important. And so
totally,
I think that can apply to a lot of different brands, whether it's just any type of product.
Yeah.
Building that all off of a why. Even as trends are changing and you're bringing more products into your catalogs, you should have one reason why you're doing it all, because that's where your audience is. And if they love that part of what you're doing, then they might also love all the other products that you're continually adding and the content you're creating and things like that.
Well, just to tie this into to the Swifties,
please,
let's just do full circle really quick.
I think there's no better way.
Yeah, there isn't.
Taylor Swift, although she's changed genres, it seems like that she's maintained the why.
Yeah.
Right?
It's true.
And so she resonates, she continues to resonate very strongly with her audience and build an audience.
Yeah.
But it's allowed her to do things I think that other artists have a hard time doing, because sometimes they try to just change everything or change their style, and also their message is changing, where she's kind of altered her message, but her message has really been a slow, gradual progression. Yeah. Probably her why of her songwriting has always been pretty solid.
Yeah.
So
it's true.
You know, you may not be a Taylor Swift music fan, but I think you're a fan of Taylor Swift the person.
Oh yeah, I am.
Yeah.
Yeah. I've never actually listened to one of her songs all the way through.
And I don't buy it.
I don't believe that.
Yeah. I mean, maybe at a restaurant, but
he said it before, but I don't buy it.
I've never.
Wait.
Should we spend the next 3 minutes of the podcast listening to a song?
We can, if you guys want. It really would be my first time.
No,
I like analyzing her though, as a
she's built a really great brand.
Yeah. So I think what she needs to do is when she gets married,
to
Travis Kelce.
Yep.
Because it's not a PR stunt.
Hopefully.
Yeah.
Then she needs to get her flowers pressed and preserved.
And I think it's going to up your business, because I think she's going to start a phenomenon of, she's getting married, I should get married too.
Totally.
So she's gonna flip the.
Wow, you think she's got that kind of sway?
I do think
she'll create a wedding spike.
Not only will she create a wedding spike, but if she
found her man.
Dare this happen, she has a baby and decides to put her career somewhat on the back burner.
You think people would have more babies?
That is so interesting.
I think she is the most influential woman in the world.
Well, if she gets her bouquet preserved, then everybody will get their bouquet preserved.
Yeah. And she should.
And I stand by that comment. I don't think there's a more influential woman.
Okay, well, we got to create a marketing campaign, right?
Yeah, let's start now.
With Pressed Floral to educate Taylor on the art of preservation.
Yeah. Someone who's listening to this, if you have a contact somewhere, do something about it.
Do something about it.
Well, Sarah, thank you so much for joining us. This has been very enjoyable.
It's been great.
Yeah.
Thank you,
I've learned so much.
Where can people find you, and where can people find Pressed Floral?
Yeah, we're both on Instagram, pressfloral.com, pressfloral_. And I'm not as interesting as Press Floral, but my name's Sarah Ebert. You can find me on Instagram.
Well, thank you so much for joining us. We appreciate it. And thank you, everybody, for listening. And we will see you next week. Thank you so much for listening to the Unstoppable Marketer podcast. Please go rate and subscribe the podcast, whether it's good or bad. We want to hear from you, because we always want to make this podcast better. If you want to get in touch with me or give me any direct feedback, please go follow me and get in touch with me. I am at the Trevor Crump on both Instagram and TikTok. Thank you, and we will see you next week.